The term populism derives from the Latin word populus, meaning the people. This origin already points to the central idea of populist movements, the claim to speak in the name of the true people. Populism, however, is not a modern phenomenon. It has accompanied political communities since antiquity. Even in ancient Greece, demagogues in the city-states, especially in Athens, used emotional rhetoric to influence popular assemblies. They presented themselves as representatives of the people and deliberately appealed to emotions such as fear, pride, and outrage in order to shape political decisions. Similar patterns could also be found in the Roman Empire, where political actors increasingly addressed the masses directly and emphasized the contrast between the people and the elites. In the early modern period, populist elements appeared mainly during times of social upheaval. Peasant uprisings in the 15th and 16th centuries already contained populist features, as they formulated moral claims of the common people against the ruling classes. With the emergence of modern nation-states and the spread of democratic ideas, populist thinking gained further importance, since political legitimacy was increasingly derived from the people. In the 19th century, populism developed for the first time into a clearly identifiable political movement. In the United States, the so-called People's Party, also known as the Populist Party, emerged in the 1890s. It primarily represented farmers and workers who felt disadvantaged by banks, railway companies, and political elites. This movement combined justified social criticism with a strong opposition between the people and the elite, a pattern that would become characteristic of many later populist movements. At the same time, populist tendencies developed in Europe, particularly in connection with nationalism and the social question. Political movements increasingly defined the people not only in social terms, but also in cultural and national ones. This created a link between populism and identity-based ideas, which gained even greater importance in the 20th century. During the interwar period, populism appeared in especially radical forms. Economic crises, political instability, and social insecurity created fertile ground for movements that promised simple solutions and identified clear enemies. In several European countries, populist rhetoric merged with authoritarian ideologies. The opposition between the people and the system became increasingly anti-democratic and, in extreme cases, led to the destruction of democratic institutions. After the Second World War, populism was initially regarded as a marginal phenomenon in many Western democracies. Economic recovery, the expansion of the welfare state, and stable political institutions reduced its appeal. Nevertheless, populism did not disappear. It remained latent, particularly where social groups felt politically ignored or excluded. From the 1980s and 1990s onward, populism gained renewed strength. Globalization, technological change, migration, and growing social inequality produced new forms of insecurity. Populist actors used these developments to construct narratives of loss of control. Populism emerged in both right-wing and left-wing variants, yet both shared the claim to represent the true will of the people against political, economic, or cultural elites. In the 21st century, populism has expanded significantly across the world. Digital media and social networks enable direct and emotional communication with large audiences and intensify simplified messages. Today, populism is less tied to fixed ideologies than to a particular style of communication. It thrives on polarization, moral simplification, and the assertion that complex social problems can be solved directly through the will of the people. From a historical perspective, populism is therefore not a coherent ideology, but a political logic that gains strength whenever trust in institutions declines and social orientation is lost. It arises from real conflicts, but condenses them into simplified oppositions. The history of populism thus also reflects the history of democratic crises, in which the promise of political participation collides with experiences of powerlessness.